Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. It's land.
Yeah, but isn't this the unplugged version? I don't know. I think it's the unplugged version.
All right, Paulie, let's go.
All right, listen, y'all. Just go ahead and let the guest play. Come on, jeez. That's better. Where'd I go?
Welcome to a special live edition of the Latino Slant in conjunction with the Daily Chela. My name is Paulie. This is a completely last minute decision to go live because we thought you would enjoy it. Yeah, why not? Instead of just recording our reactions, what I thought, then we can edit it. But you thought, and then we'll edit it. No, we're just gonna, as Brandon says, we'll do it live. So the technically first Harris, technically second Trump debate of 2024 is in the books. We have a poll going on in the chat. Who do you think won? It's very simple. It's two choices. Well, maybe do you think the ABC moderators won? Trump or Harris? You guys vote. People are trickling in. We're live right now on X and on YouTube. Make sure you have smashed the like. Make sure you are a member of the channel, and we'll get a moderator in here and also share Brandon Lauren Maxwell's links and his Daily Chela and all that stuff. Oh, people are coming in. We're seeing it, but let's bring on the man himself. He's a founder, writer, editor of the Daily Chela, and filmmaker, American Homeboy. He's actually in town for a very cool reason. I don't even know if he can say it yet, but there's exciting things going on with American Homeboy from an exclusive hotel location.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Brandon Lauren Maxwell, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, man? What'd you think of the debate?
Well, let's go to first impressions. I thought that the debate was wild at times, nasty, personal, very little policy from one candidate where I could really point to say, oh, okay, that's something that I can really get behind. That's something that could be a reality. And then also too, I just felt that the moderators were really one-sided. What did you think? What were your feelings?
Well, I think the trap in this scenario is looking at the debate through a traditional lens of how you would typically look at a presidential debate. This isn't a debate that is going to be this candidate won, this candidate lost in the conventional sense. And the reason is this is a very unconventional election with two unconventional candidates, right? You had Kamala, who essentially was thrust into the position of running for president just merely a month and a half ago, 2 months almost. And then you have Donald Trump, who's unconventional in every sense. And so with Donald Trump, everything is already baked in with him. And so the question for me, is there anything that he said tonight that surprises anybody? Well, the answer to that, of course, is probably no, right? Everybody expects Trump to say ridiculous things. Everybody expects Trump to interrupt, to be rude, to name call. So does he lose any voters or any support that he already had? And so my answer to that is, I think it's highly unlikely. I don't think that he lost any support that he already didn't have. And so then the question becomes, does that mean that Kamala, even if she won in the traditional sense, which I think she did she peel away any voters and add to her support? And I think the answer is no. I think she consolidated the support that she already had, okay, especially on the abortion issue. But all that does is widen the gender gap. And so I think that you walk away with the media talking about how Kamala won the debate, and then conservatives talking about how the moderators were biased, and we're right back where we started. You might see a spike maybe tomorrow in a few post television cable news polls.
Hmm.
But overall, I don't think this changes much. And actually, I think Kamala made a mistake here, which
Hmm.
is right after this debate, they just issued a press release asking for a second debate.
Yeah, and Darth Plato, member of the channel, comes right in right away. The Harris team immediately asks for another debate. That should tell you all you need to know who won.
Yeah, and I think it's a mistake. I think what she should do is she should go in front of the media more. But I think anytime she's going out with Trump in
Yeah.
front of an audience, you're playing with fire because
So
the
that
next
would be in
debate,
front of an audience?
well, I mean, in front of a national television audience.
I mean, in front of a live audience,
Well,
that would
that's
be
probably not going to happen. They're never going to agree to that. But if
that would
if
be
they're
something.
going in front of the nation to debate again, I think anytime
Hmm.
she's doing that, she's playing roulette. She
Hmm.
should take her cards. She won this debate, and then she should go do a media tour. Is what she should do. But we'll see what happens.
Okay, let's hear from. We already got over 50 people combined hanging out with us. That is really cool on this Tuesday night, September 10th, right after the first debate of these two people, two presidential candidates. Julissa, hey, Polly, hey, what's going on? Darth Lopez, Trump got cooked. I'd say there was definitely some cooked moments. Fire Dragon 57, who's a member of the channel, President Trump is his own worst enemy. He doesn't know when to stop talking. VP Harris is good at saying who she wants to help, but does not offer what she would do to help. Okay. Lord Trinan, I didn't see the whole thing, but I think Trump held his own fairly well in a 3-1 debate.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the consensus with a lot of people who already support Trump. And you're already seeing that on X. Is I think a lot of people think that Kamala won this debate, but the
Hmm.
moderators didn't help. I think the moderators were biased in how they addressed fact checks and things like that. And so I think that'll be the takeaway. In fact, I think the moderators did a lot of damage to Kamala for this reason, because had they not done that, she probably still would have won the debate, except now the footnote becomes, well, the moderators were very biased. So that's kind of the asterisk on this debate on the right.
Yeah. I want to put a pin on that because I want to go back to the independent voter, like who's peeling away, and I have some thoughts there. Ron said disappointed that Harris fought dirty, and she was shrill, verging on hysterical. Superior, member of the channel, according to Daily Wire, Trump lost the debate. LOL. And Rooftop, in my opinion, of Trump is that he's a grifting POS. But even I know that he won this debate just like he won against Biden.
I was surprised by the amount of texts that I got
Mm-hmm.
from people who said Kamala won the debate, but I can't stand Kamala Harris. I'm still going to vote for Trump, or I'm going to vote for Trump. So I think she has a likability issue in a different way than what Trump does.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has a trust issue as well. And so I just don't see her peeling away any meaningful support from this debate. But I also think that she doesn't lose any support. I think we're right back where we started.
So let's talk about that. And chat, if you guys are live with us, there is a poll going on. Make sure you vote. Let us know who won. Make sure you are subscribed to our channel. And if we have a moderator in the chat, I don't see one yet. We'll grab your link to the Daily Chela. So you said something about peeling away votes. I think it's safe to say, like you said, both sides we're kind of at where we were before. Maybe Harris gets Harris in the media will get a bump, but what I'm concerned with is the small group of independent voters that were with JFK. Are they swayed anyways? Because I saw JFK Jr. tweeting throughout the entire debate, kind of giving sound backup as to, well, yeah, these Republicans would back up Harris because here's what they stand for.
Mhm.
That was some pretty cool sound stuff he was throwing in there. So I'm wondering, because he's doing that, right? Is he bringing is he bringing his voters to him, his potential voters to Trump? What are your thoughts?
Well, you have to remember that they were already tied and within the margin of error before RFK, before that
Mhm.
endorsement. And so I know they said that he would bring 6% or so over, but you're probably looking at maybe 2% at most on
At
that
most?
difference. So I think
Uh-huh.
that at the end of the day, you're still in the margin of error, even if
Mhm.
you don't have that extra RFK bump. So I don't think
Mhm.
it matters at the end of the day. I don't think it matters. I think there are probably a lot of guys who watch this debate tonight
Mhm.
who simply didn't like Kamala and some of the things she said. Maybe she reminds them of their nagging girlfriends or those types of things. And I think it's a put off for a lot of guys. And I think a lot of women probably watched the debate and were like, "Oh yeah, she's putting him in his place," and liked it. And so I think you're going to
Mm.
see a widening gender gap.
Mm.
You're going to see more women that
Well,
support Kamala, and you're going to see more guys drifting over to Trump.
okay.
Even if they don't like Trump, because I just think they dislike Kamala in the same way that a lot of the women dislike Trump.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ron is right. RFK Jr. threw down. Yeah, on Twitter, he was throwing down his live tweets during the debate, which I was checking out. So you can go check out his profile, because he was throwing down facts as to, like, when particularly when Kamala said that so many Republicans now back her up, and he gave reasons why. You know, let me see. Rafam, Polly, come on, be objective. Do you actually think Trump won the debate?
No, I never said that Trump. Oh,
Well,
are you
we
talking to
said
Trump?
Polly,
Oh, okay.
but go ahead, man. Get
Well,
on
no,
it.
I like I said, if you're just looking at this in terms of win lose from a traditional standpoint, then Kamala won the debate. But that's not how I look at it. I look at it in terms of who's going to win the election, because that's all that matters, and that's the only reason you debate.
Mm-hmm.
In this sense, Kamala's goal going in was not to win the debate. And if you're looking at it in those terms, then you're not really I think you're detached from what the real issue is, because what she needed to do was win new voters. She didn't need to win the debate. Those are
Yeah, and
two.
you bring up a great point, because she won her nervous base, because they were very nervous for her and for this campaign, that she was going to completely crack under pressure of the lights and all this. Which I never, however I feel about the candidate, but on that level, she did win.
Well, let me tell you something. So, what
Mm-hmm.
is the demo that Kamala needs to peel away to make this work? Okay. So, the demo is either more people from the far left or moderates, or a few Trump supporters, which I don't think is going to happen, right? So, Trump supporters are still going to support
Say
him no matter
far
what.
left.
Well, because look, I go onto my X right now and I see multiple people on the far left who are upset with her position on Israel.
Israel, correct.
Okay, so she didn't
Right.
win anybody over from that.
Correct.
That was the most skeptical block of her on the left, was the people who dislike what's happening in
Mm-hmm.
Gaza. So they're unhappy. I
Mm-hmm.
have people in my X feed who are unhappy with her being a prosecutor and not necessarily addressing questions about police misconduct and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think she's going to win any new people over from those blocks, the far left. She's not going to win any conservatives who are already dedicated to Trump. The only people she can peel away are going to be moderate Republicans. And I sense that moderate Republicans, if they do anything, they're going to sit this one out, or they're going to write in another name, but they're not going to vote for Kamala, because I just don't think she sold the country on being a moderate candidate. Because to be honest, she didn't address most of the questions that came her way.
She did not.
She did very good dancing around those questions, and that's what
She did.
politicians do. It's not like an abnormal strategy, but I don't think that she necessarily won any new voters over as a result.
Really fast, to finish that, RFK Jr. supports Trump, and he was denounced by his family. I mean, that's the. I don't see the relevance of that. He has millions of supporters who are very loyal to him, and we're running a healthy campaign. And then when Harris came in, it just shrunk, and that decision is that decision. So whether he's not doing this to please his family, he's doing it to for what he believes in. I'm talking about RFK Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, cool. We got a super chat from Michael Nemo. Thank you, Michael, for $5. Alternate view. The moderators might not have been biased, but it must be so tiring not to have a candidate answer their yes/no questions succinctly.
So the other big news, of course, is that Taylor Swift came out and endorsed Kamala after the debate.
Oh, is that just happened right now?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Michael's statement here?
Alternate view: the moderators might not have been biased, but it must be so tiring to not have a candidate answer their questions succinctly. I mean, I think that the moderators were biased, so I disagree with the premise of the statement. Yeah, I think that they were biased, but here's the thing. I don't think it matters, because I think that this only helps Donald Trump. It helps him when he's being bombarded by the media and not giving him a fair shot, or only fact checking him. And the left, of course, will say, well, it's because he's the only one up there lying. But that's not true. There are lies that Kamala told up there, and there's a few lists of them on X. I don't have them on off the top of my head, but you can go on X and you can see a few people who have made a list of the things that she fibbed about. But those things weren't called out by the moderators. So I think that hurts the moderators. But again, I just don't think, as far as she needed to win over more voters. You're within the margin of error. Trump historically underpolls but overperforms when it comes to election. And so if they're within the margin of error, that's a problem for the Kamala Harris campaign. So she needs to get over that hump.
We have a lot of people in the chat and on X as well. If you're not in our YouTube live chat, you can't vote on who do you think won tonight. So get on over to our YouTube channel. I'll put the link on X. But with 33 votes, 64% feel Trump won, 35% Harris. Let's
look. I still get a kick. I can't help. I'm so amused by all of these people who, for years, whined about Trump wanting to build a wall, and they're still they just completely act like Kamala didn't come along and promise to finish building Trump's wall. Because so sure, maybe Kamala carries herself in a more professional political manner, right? More of the establishment candidate. But what difference does it make if she's still supporting the same anti-immigrant policies to the people that criticized her under Trump when Trump was president? So I still don't understand that hypocrisy that I see on the left and with people who are supporting Kamala. And of course, ABC, they didn't bring any of that up.
No, so let's go through some, and thanks a lot, Michael, for your $5. We love super chats here. Really appreciate it. What would you say was what would you say was the strongest moments for Harris?
I thought her strongest moment was probably the abortion issue, and that's traditionally been her strongest issue. So that's why she's consolidated so much support among women. So I think that was probably her strongest issue. I think the other thing with the questions is you can go back and you can look at what's very telling is at what times do the media bring up what questions. So you can see that ABC placed the questions that they wanted to hurt Trump the most at the times that they thought it would hurt him the most.
It's pretty early on.
They didn't ask the abortion question the second, an hour and a half into the debate, right?
Right.
They did it a half hour into the
first
debate.
First half hour.
And before everybody's tuned out. So I think those types of things are always telling when it comes to the debates. Like, where do they place the questions in the debate?
Yeah, interesting. Really quickly on the timing of that, it was after the whole tariff thing, which I didn't, which I was surprised that kind of came up early, which I think falls into Trump's wheelhouse as his strength. Then they went right to abortion. So
yeah, well, Trump fumbled the football dozens of times during that debate. I mean,
he did.
Time and time again where it's like, I wish I was up there because I would run circles around Kamala. She is so easy to pick apart. But Trump, he's not that great of a speaker. He's not a great debater. He's just aggressive. But she handed him a lot that he could have used, but he just didn't, because he gets hung up on these random.
Well, he got it towards the end, which was kind of funny, right? I actually, okay, so going back to the abortion issue, She gave stories of different situation scenarios now of women in different states. I thought that was very effective. Um, and uh, and how she kept pushing for that they will sign a federal abortion ban. And then the moderators went after Trump to would you veto the abortion ban? And he's like, we don't have to. That's not even, why is that even a question? We got it to the states in 50
Yeah.
years. That has never been done before. We got it to the states, but they kept on him. I actually thought, for as strong as she did with that, I thought that was a very clear and strong, defense for him. He was on the defense a lot. I actually thought he did a really fine job there. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's something to be said for preparing for these types of moments.
Mm.
I think that you risk over preparing when you spend 5 days doing it like Kamala did. And at first, she did come across as very scripted. Then she started to get comfortable as time went on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know,
But then she went back to being scripted with her closing argument.
She did, but that's not a surprise. Most candidates do that in the closing arguments. With Trump, I mean, he's got a habit of never really preparing for anything. He just wings it, and I get that. I'm kind of the
Yeah.
same way. But when you're running for the presidency, you probably should take some time, especially when she had somebody like what's her name helping her out to debate.
Right, her best friend, right?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh,
No,
you're talking.
I'm talking about. Her name is slipping my mind right
Yeah.
now. From
Well,
Hawaii.
while you're thinking of that, I am surprised that he did not make it very clear where she didn't answer the question. Where if he just said you didn't answer the question, here's the answer, right? Like you said, because she did it a few times. Where was she weakest for you?
I think, gosh, man, I should have taken notes.
Okay, well, I took
I thought
notes.
she was actually weakest early on. I thought when she came across as very nervous in the beginning, like I said, very
Mm-hmm.
scripted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was probably trying to feel it out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Trump kind of played a role in loosening her up. Because just Trump has a way of just changing the atmosphere by going off on tangents. And
Right.
so
It's almost he almost makes it okay to get nasty and personal and heated.
Correct, yeah, and so
Mm-hmm.
I think that helped to loosen her up a bit,
Right.
actually. I think if he had been more formal, and then threw in a jab here and there that would throw
Mm-hmm.
her off, I think that probably would have been more effective strategy. But again, at the end of the day, it doesn't none of this matters. All it comes down to is, did Kamala peel away any new voters?
Yeah, but we're breaking down the debate. Come on, man, stop that. I thought for me, her weakest was talking about Afghanistan, the pulling out of Afghanistan. She supported Biden. It was a complete catastrophe. She tried to throw it back on Trump. Anytime she talked about foreign policy, because there's no admittance in ownership of some of the mistakes that they are continuing to make, or the border of what they're not doing.
Yeah, well, I thought his strongest moment was challenging her as to why she didn't address immigration when she was already in the White House. And her first answer was the predictable answer, which is we put forward that border bill. But she still seemed a bit frazzled, and he should have hammered down on that, because that's an easy one to pick apart too, because they attached Ukraine funding to it, and that was the reasons why Republicans shot it down. I mean, there's a whole bunch of avenues he could have taken against that, but he ended up going off on another tangent. I think it was immigrants eating cats, something like that, which I thought was a terrible move. I thought that was the low point of the debate. But at the end of the day, the question becomes, did it surprise anybody? And for me, the only thing that surprised me was that it took 30 minutes for him to start talking about immigrants eating cats. I'm surprised it wasn't his opening statement. So I'm not surprised he brought that up, but I don't think it necessarily helps the Republican Party.
If anyone in the Republican or Trump campaign watches this for some reason, watches on the replay, two Latinos breaking it down from our unique perspective. You guys got to drop all that shit. You're gonna lose us. You're gonna lose anyone as far as an independent voter who might be dancing around.
Well, look, I
Because
said
I'm
this
just saying for me. I'm just saying for me. I like that. All that stuff is a complete turnoff if you don't have credible sources.
Yeah, well, I said this earlier
Go
today.
ahead, Brandon.
Even if it was credible sources, to make a broad statement like they're just coming here and eating your pets. I had a Lyft driver in Ohio who was Haitian, and I had a Lyft driver in Utah who was Venezuelan. Both
Oh
of
yeah,
them,
I saw your.
both of them were Trump supporters.
Mm-hmm.
And so presumably future GOP voters, the moment they were able to become citizens, the Republican Party doesn't think about the fact that this type of rhetoric pushes away potential Republican voters who might otherwise agree with them. If there's somebody out there eating pets, catch them, convict them, do whatever you have to do. But don't make broad, stupid, generalized, xenophobic statements about entire nationalities and cultures. It's not helpful to the cause. And like you, it pushes people like me away too. It's like one of the biggest problems I have with the Republican Party is the way they talk about other people.
Yeah. And this is an area that's very close to me in regards to immigration, documented, undocumented, legal, illegal. There is for me, I whenever I'm in a discussion with someone that I disagree with, I just ask that the conversation be vaulted. And this stuff is just so disgusting as far as the you're dehumanizing and just sensationalizing something that what's going on here. It's just really, there's a lot of clown world going on both sides.
But you know what? This is deliberate. So you remember in the 80s under Bush when he ran, Lee Atwater, that was his campaign manager. He ran an ad called the Willie Horton ad.
Yes, Willie Horton. Yes.
A black man who was, I think wrongfully convicted of murder, or maybe it didn't happen. I don't remember what the details was, but the idea was to scare voters, and it worked against Dukakis. This is the same thing. When you see all those cat memes floating around on social media, they're a bunch of mini micro Willie Horton ads in the age of social media. The purpose is to create xenophobia and scare voters. And so that's why I have a problem with that type of thing, except you have a bunch of people who are willingly doing it, and some of them don't even realize that that's what they're doing. It's just a funny cat meme.
Okay, so on the other side, let's say on the other side, on the left, if this, you got the cat things, you got that. Oh, Jesus, I lost my example, man. Because it doesn't just happen on one side or the other. It'll come back to me. Let's read a couple of chats. We actually got a gift of 5 Latino Slant memberships from member of the channel, Terry. What's up, Terry? Thank you so much for the 5 Latino Slant memberships. That's fantastic, and we keep growing. We're really pushing hard with our memberships. One thing we're doing is getting content out early for you guys. First look, you got a couple videos out right now that only members can see. One includes a Rachel Ziegler video, which I think is hilarious, and the other one is a Rosa Para movie review. We just put it up during the debates for the members on Transformers 1. Rosa Para also comes by way of the Daily Chela. So there you go, man. It's all about the good family. Thanks for the memberships, Terry. Thank you. Okay, and what else do we have here? Okay, let's go back. Let's go. Brandon, what you are not understanding, nobody wants completely open borders, my man. LOL. Only very small fringe groups want that.
Sure. I mean, I don't, where did open borders come from? I don't even think the Democrat Party supports open borders. I think you think they think that they support open borders because we have an influx of immigration. But yeah, I don't think the average person wants open borders. Philosophically, I want to support open borders, but I don't, because I know that in this day and age, it doesn't work. But we need to find a way to streamline our citizenship process because right now it's convoluted. So I blame our bureaucratic process for incentivizing people to come here illegally.
And Rafam comes in too. He's coming in hard tonight. Coming in hard. A lot of heat. I like it. Are you guys surprised that the far right thinks like this against the minorities? How much more evidence do you need, Brandon?
Of what?
That the far right thinks like this in regards to being against minorities.
I mean, yeah, I think there is a branch of the far right that thinks like Trump does when it comes to people from other countries. It's my biggest source of contention with the far right. I'm pretty on the record for that. I'm a pretty pro-immigration guy. But my question becomes, okay, so there's this one issue that I really dislike about Trump and Republicans.
Mm,
And so does that mean that I turned a blind eye to all of these other issues
correct.
that Kamala and Walls bring with them, like a Trojan horse? Am I supposed to just all of a sudden become a full-blown left-wing Democrat and agree with all of those issues? I mean, the fact is there's a lot of things that I disagree with Kamala and particularly Walls. And so at what point am I supposed to just be okay with all of those things?
Great point. I think with any group that you're, a member of, you're not always going to agree with all of their stances, or maybe even the members and how they, carry themselves.
I
But
mean, do
I'm
you
just,
support
I mean,
RAF M? Do you support taxpayer funded gender transition surgery for migrants in prison or prisoners? I mean, that's a ridiculous stance. That
I
Kamala
mean, and I know that sounds real extreme, and like that's not, it's fantasy, but that's on record, is it not?
It's on record. CNN broke the story yesterday. You can go back. I've got it downloaded. She filled out the form for the ACLU, a questionnaire,
Right.
and went on the record saying that she believed that. And so those are the types of ridiculous policies that they bring with them.
And I'm a lifelong Democrat, have been, and I don't like how they've been running California for the last dozen years. There's a lot of things that they promised that have not happened. We've lost millions of dollars. My business was lost during COVID. Trump's helped my small business out immensely. When Biden came in, he killed the program, lost my business. I know other friends that own restaurants, same thing. So yeah, man, I've got problems on both sides, and it's not a feeling for me. It's a fact with my business and being a minority. If anything, in my experience, being a minority and checking that box under the Trump PPP loan helped my business last longer, Brandon. Biden came in, cut the program out. That's just me. That's what I went through. So that's what I'm taking into this new season. So this is not a feeling of emotion. How do I feel? I mean, I don't, personality wise, this is in my experience. Okay, what I'm seeing here, what am I paying here? What's, and that's how that what's the local news and the national news, and that's how I'm gathering my information. Okay. Wow, this is great, man. You guys are fantastic. Open Borders comes from Europe. Thank you, Darth. Calavera 310. What's up, Calavera 310? This current administration believes in open borders. My man from the RC from the NYC. He's been a member. He's been with us for so long. We're now almost we're over 170 people combined hanging out with us. Make sure you guys get on here into the YouTube chat. Right now, we're almost to 100 votes, Brandon. 100 votes on who they thought won. I think it's a little biased here. It's like 70% Trump.
Well, it is called the Latino slant.
Hey-o. VP Harris played on Trump's insecurities and as get for frazzled 5 minutes into the debate. I think you meant to say and got him frazzled. He got frazzled 5 minutes into the debate. Yeah, I just don't know. was it to what was the purpose of that? Like
Purpose of what? You know, I think that
playing into his insecurities. Like did she win any new voters over?
no,
Did
she
she?
didn't win any voters, but I think it's great that she won this debate. I think it's great for our political process.
Mm-hmm,
And I think that it's kind of like a boxing match. Okay. So if you have two people who are boxing each other and the same boxer wins 2 times in a row, you
mm-hmm.
don't get that third match. Well, Trump beat Biden pretty handedly. Kamala just beat Trump. And now Kamala wants to do it again. And you can rest assured Trump's probably going to take her up on it because he's going to see it as a way to redeem himself. So I think it's great for our political process that we're going to have more debates because it's been a shortened election season. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with both of them going in front of the nation again and debating. And do I think either one will make a difference? Probably not. But if you love politics like me, it definitely, I'm excited for it. I
Well,
want to say one thing, though. You mentioned your business being destroyed under Biden. Well, that's something that I've seen as a reoccurring theme.
mm-hmm.
You know, it was James Carville who said it's the economy, stupid, when he was Bill Clinton's uh, chief strategist. Well, it's true. That still rings true today. It's the economy. The economy matters most to people. So the fact of the matter is, as much as people don't like Trump, including me, there's a lot of people who are hurting economically. There's still inflation. And you have to overcome that in order to win over those voters. And Kamala, at the end of the day, is still part of the administration that's currently in power.
Right, and that's the example that I bring up. To me, I think that's more on people's minds than some of the more obscure, cultural issues, culture war issues. I mean, yeah, I get it. As far as what would you say the gender thing for
The gender reassignment surgery.
immigrants in prison?
It was for migrants in camps and prisoners.
Okay, I mean, I don't even know who's paying for that. I think at the end of the day, American taxpayers are paying for it. But again, losing my business and having to start all over, and where I'm still feeling the effects, kind of takes precedence in my day to day. That's why I brought it up to everybody, because on the day to day, I had to start this little business with my girlfriend. I have another little business. I have this as a business now. This YouTube was not in the picture in 2020. There was no YouTube. There was none of that. Right? I had built something up in regards to my martial arts business that I put in just to get where I was at as a black belt teacher over 10 years of my life. And it was gone. Right? But that's COVID. I get it. People, the behaviors. Who helped me out was Trump. Then who killed it was Biden. That is my experience with my business. That's all I'm saying. That those issues take more precedence for me than some of these. I hate to say it, even abortion, and I don't necessarily I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone here. I'm just saying that that's not my number one issue.
Can you take Raf's latest comment?
Raf's latest comment, but boy, I got so many comments that are being starred though. You want him to jump? We're gonna jump. But then make this the last one that you go after. Here we go. Brandon, if you care about working class policies, you would support Sanders. I mean, he supports policies found he does. We're both Sanders people. He's not running.
I'm not a Sanders guy.
I thought you were a Sanders
guy. And
guy
I hated that whole Theo Bernie slogan. Look, the problem with that statement is that you presume that the only way to help working class people is to have more government. And my view is the complete opposite. The best way to help working class people is to have less government meddling in their lives. I don't want to copy what they're doing in Europe. I want less bureaucracy in my life. I want less governments telling people what to do. I want less taxes, all of those different things. So we're completely diametrically different viewpoints here when it comes to working class and the government.
Okay, let's go through these. Rodrigo's here. You can tell how slanted your audience is by this poll. 67% say Trump won the debate. I'm a progressive, but objectively admitted that Biden lost the debate. No way anyone objectively says Trump won.
Latino slant.
Latinos, my Slantinos did. Love them or hate. I mean, that's my peoples. Rooftop Korean from somebody, and they're probably all voting too. So Rooftop Korean, for somebody that's writing in a candidate, Trump made me chuckle a few times and Kamala read from a script. If you made me choose between the two based on the debate, I'd go for Trump. Cosmic Nerdy Gemini, this debate feels like a marriage couple fighting court. That's awesome. It did feel like that sometimes. I got that energy.
Yeah, divorce court. Yeah, it's funny. That's the first time they've ever met. It seems like they've known each other for years.
Even though he supported her campaign back in the day, right? As a DA or something, he like gave her money.
I don't know.
Yeah, he did. Trump was dragged into Kamala's level, so Kamala won. Dragon Bricks X. Deasia Hairston, I haven't seen you here. So now Kamala's paying every person in the crowd at a rally? He's delusional. Only Trump cares about the rich, not the poor. That's not true. That's actually not true. I think I just made the example that is not true. If he did not care about the poor, and I consider myself in that I'm not wealthy, I would not have a lot of businesses of color would not have survived that first year without Trump's PPP. So that's one example. Brandon, please.
Well, no, I do think that one thing that gets lost in this conversation is that I still think that Trump's doing enormous damage to the Republican Party. And, he's not an ideal candidate. I don't think he's a great messenger. I don't think he's a great person. And I think that the way that he carries himself continues to push away potential future Republican voters. And I think Republicans now still, some of them are probably still seeing him and saying, why did we hitch our White House hopes or the next presidency again to this same person who gets up on stage and just rants. And so they're still going to go vote for him. But I just think there's no strategic foresight happening right now in the Republican Party. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out the next election when Trump can't run again. Unless you're one of those conspiracy theorists who thinks it's the last time he ever runs and he's just going to become an authoritarian.
Julie said, I don't want to pay for gender reassignment surgeries. Kevin Davis, Kamala Harris. Terry, the founding fathers were all about less government. Darth, personal freedom presupposes economic freedom, folks. Socialism doesn't work. Rosa, will the endorsement of the childless cat lady for Harris mean anything? RC from the NYC. Trump recently said that San Francisco was better off 15 years ago. Guess who was the San Fran DA 15 years ago? Yeah. I think 15 years ago, Newsom was the mayor still, right? Paul, I thought you were doing this live. Well, there's this. I thought Trump won and Kamala Harris. No, we weren't going to do it live, but Brandon pulled my arm. He did a jiu-jitsu move on me. Kevin Davis, Kamala Harris is going to win November. It's going to be close president election. Ooh. You think she has a real shot at winning this election?
I mean, I think anybody has a shot when it's this close. If I were a betting man, I would probably still put my bets on Trump. I think Trump is gonna eke out this election, and I think it's going to be the source of much consternation and division over the next 4 years, unfortunately, in this country if that happens. But when I look at the polling, Kamala's not where she needs to be with Latinos or Black people or men.
It's getting worse.
She's winning women over at the same rate she's losing men. And the fact of the matter is, for the Democrat side, they have to win Pennsylvania, and if they don't, they basically have to win 4 out of 5 swing states.
Wow.
And so that's a tall order. You're telling me they're going to go over and win Arizona? I don't know. Or Michigan?
Yeah. Yeah. We got another gifted 10 Latino Slam memberships. Daryl Brewer, who's a member of the channel. He's a buddy to a lot of channels. Just gifted 10 people Latino Slant memberships. So that's 15 tonight. Okay, so what you guys get right off the gate, you're going to see your membership alerts where you're getting videos that no one else is getting. You're getting videos early. We're doing 4 movie reviews the next couple of weeks that no one else is getting. You're getting them first. You're getting them early. Major films because we're getting the early access with Rosa Parra. So we got Transformers 1 that just went up. Joker is going to be coming out. We're going to have that. Megalopolis and Wild Robot. Do you want to see any of those movies?
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't listen to the whole list because I was reading the comments.
Boys, my boy is in the comments. You gotta leave the chat alone for a minute, yo. This is me and you, brother. Me and you, brother. We're in this together. Two brown brothers.
I think the movie I'm looking forward to most is Beetlejuice.
Oh,
And
okay.
now I really want to see it after Rosa's abysmal review of it. So now I have to see it. She kind of put a damper on things, but
Yep.
I'm excited to see it nonetheless.
Me and her felt the same way. Yeah.
Oh.
We did, man.
All right.
And okay, well, you got Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis that's coming out. I want
to see that one too.
That looks really beautiful. And Samuel Main, member of the channel, gifted a Latino Slant membership. Guys, we have a new level, the Amiguito level for $2.99. You get the shout out. $4.99. You start getting merchandise discounts. We just do a lot of great stuff here. Okay, let's get back into it. Imagine the mental implosion if Trump should win, but the Senate and the House are blue. 2 years of dry chalk screeching on the blackboard.
I actually think that's going to be the case if Kamala wins. I think if Kamala wins, you're going to see Republicans win down ballot because I don't think there's an appetite in the country for far left governance. So I think there'll be checks and balances if Kamala did win.
Interesting. If the next what happened? Daniel T, if the next debate was on Twitter, would it be good or bad with how Musk is at questioning people? I mean, I think if anything, it'll never happen. Kamala should just have a conversation with Musk. She should just and go on Rogan. But it's never going to happen. But those are the people, their fan bases, their followings, those followers. You could potentially win some new votes, but I don't think that her people would let her go do that. What do you think?
No, I don't think she's going to do it. I think they want to be as planned as much as possible. I mean, it's amazing that she did this first debate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I don't see her going on Joe Rogan. I don't think he would have her on. He said he doesn't want Trump on his show either. I think he wants to stay out of that. So, yeah, I don't particularly see her doing that. She's talked to, I think, so the official tally, she's talked to 6 media outlets, and Trump has talked to 39, I think it was. So she stayed relatively low key, but it's also hurt her in the polls. You saw that in the recent poll that came out in the New York Times. So I would expect after tonight's debate and going forward, I would expect her to start talking to the media a little bit more. She probably feels a little bit more comfortable now.
Well, I think they might have to watch her though, because sometimes she comes off a little too I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, brother. But she doesn't sound all too sober.
I mean, I stay out of that one. I've heard people say that she drinks a lot. I don't know.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that it doesn't sound like a clear-minded, clear thought, well thought out conversations that I want from a world leader. So that's just me.
Yeah, well, I thought I think she does fine when she has 5 weeks to prepare like she did, for how long did she prepare for this time? 5 days
Gosh,
to
yeah.
prepare for a debate. But she also risks coming off as a little bit scripted, and I think that for average voters, they might see through that. It might actually hurt her. I think they might look at her and say, "Well, she comes across as programmed." And just that appeal, I think that Trump has to a lot of regular voters, which is he just off the seat of his pants, right? He just goes in the moment, says what he's feeling. I think a lot of people relate to that. So I just don't know. We're in a weird place in a society where you're not necessarily looking for the most qualified, well-spoken, policy-oriented candidate. And that's probably not a good thing that people aren't looking for that. But I don't think you can rely on it like you once could 20 years ago. There's other
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so what do you say? We want to read a couple more comments and get out of here, or what do you think? We've been on for 50 minutes, Brandon.
Yeah, we can take a few more comments whenever you're ready to go. It's up to you, dude.
Yeah. Our boy Rodrigo, Brandon, and Paulie. Any stock into Leckman's 13 key predictions? He's predicted every presidential election since 1984. Just announced the keys are in Harris's favor. Thoughts?
I don't put a lot of stock into it, but you know what I do put a lot of stock in? My own predictions. And so I called the last election, including every single state, with I think 80% accuracy. So you can go back on my Twitter. It's on my timeline when I tweeted every state and who would win what. And I outdid 538. And I'm not an algorithm. I'm just somebody who loves politics and knows politics. So my gut feeling tells me that Donald Trump's going to win this election. And I have a little bit of a track record also of calling elections, not just with presidents, but also with swing states.
You know what, Rodrigo? Honestly, I heard about this guy, but I haven't done any. I haven't read up on his predictions, so I really can't.
The problem is that I feel like all of those types of things go out the window with Trump because so much about Trump is unconventional. Everything. And so it's just like nothing is ever normal with him. And so it's hard to put stock into something that applied to normal candidates and normal conditions every other election. Because this is a very strange condition as well.
Well, he's very strange. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Kamala coming to the spotlight was strange as well, right? I mean, nobody expected it. It came out of nowhere. So it's just everything about this cycle is a little bit different.
You're absolutely right because with Biden running, it was like, it's in the bag for Trump, let's get, Biden,
Yeah.
Okay. Man, we got all these starred ones. Let me hit the members of the channel.
Is that what starred means?
No, Fletcher's starring the comments, and then when you see like a little logo next to Darth Plato, see that little logo he has? That means he's a member of the channel.
I see.
So I'm gonna read them first, give them extra love. If Trump wins, he's a lame duck anyways.
Oh yes, Andrew Littman.
Doesn't matter how Harris sounds, it matters what Hual Populi thinks. The question is whether they believe Harris is a moderate and if Trump is too radioactive. That's a good point. Okay, good. All right, Latinos for Harris. Instant defense. Right on. All right. I hear you. Let me see. Dragon. The only reason Trump appeared to be far right is because the left went too far left. Trump is left-leaning moderate at best. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, I think from a policy standpoint, Trump is actually, he's not really that far right. It's his rhetoric that comes across as extreme. And so there's kind of a disconnect between his policies and his rhetoric sometimes. But when you look at his border policy, Kamala has the exact same policy.
It's the same policy.
I mean, Kamala said that she'll finish building his wall. So I
was kind of in shock with what she was saying tonight in regards to the border policy. It's just like Trump.
Yeah, I mean the only difference between them is Trump says that he'll engage in mass deportations, but anybody who understands how those things works knows that that's just bluster because the federal government can't make states round people up. There'd have to be coordination on the federal level, the state level, the city level, the county level. So it's not going to happen.
Rosa Parra, main writer on the latinoslant.com. Make sure you check out the latinoslant.com for all her movie reviews. I'll be asking my immigrant friends what they want to snack on, a cat or a dog. This was said in a presidential debate. It's mind-boggling. Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Yeah,
it's embarrassing.
that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we are good for the night. Let's close out the poll. Got 142 people that voted. Wow. Thank you guys.
What was the final result?
The final result, 143 votes, 66% think Trump won. 33% think that Harris won. I don't know. I love you guys. I don't know if I agree with you tonight. I think you guys were thinking like who's gonna win the presidency. But I gotta give Harris the credit for she stayed in the pocket. She did better than expected. But for me, was she presidential? No. World leader? Absolutely not. And it even said in the closing, her closing comments, it sounded like she wanted to be more of a, are you okay, American citizen? And that's like, I don't need that. I got my family and friends, whereas I actually thought that Trump's closing comments were on point. Brandon, any closing thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think it's a good thing for the country that Kamala won and now wants to do another debate. And so we're going to see them debate again. And I think that there might be some people who are on the fence. They're going to make their decision then because I think if Kamala comes out and wins again, maybe some people will just finally say, that's that. But I think at this point, people are still largely saying, well, that's Trump. That's what he does. He says stupid things. They still don't trust Kamala. They still don't know Kamala and what she stands for. She has a tendency to speak in platitudes like opportunity economy. What does that even mean? I mean, any free market is full of opportunity. So if you want to create opportunity, just remove bureaucratic barriers. That's all you have to do. Like, it's not really on government to create opportunity. And so I don't understand even what that means. I think she's trying to make something of it, but I haven't seen any details on how she plans to do that. If she really wants to help people, they could cut payroll taxes. That's what they could do.
Yeah, I found a lot of what she was saying with that very repetitive, very that stuff was very rehearsed. I also thought too, a lot of her, as wild as some of the stuff that Trump was saying, her reactions to some of the things he was saying. Listen, I get it, but you're running for president. You're not running. This is not like, again. I get it was like like the divorce court. Her divorce court reactions. It's all about appealing to emotion with her. Really? Okay. Harris was nervous. Says Biden's. What's up, buddy? Member of the channel, Mark's here. She had no control over her facial expressions. Oh, that was getting to me a little bit. Her reactions were a little much for me. As what Trump was saying was a little much for me, Brandon.
Well, Trump's pretty well known for his facial expressions. This is another one of those things where Trump is just, everybody's used to these things, and you're just meeting Kamala. So what she does is going to stand out a little bit more, I think just from a political standpoint. So, I don't know. I look forward to the next debate. My question again, it all comes down to the same thing, which is, did she peel away any new voters? And my answer to that is, I don't think so. I don't think that she lost any voters, but I don't think she peeled away any new voters. I think it's going to be a very tight race.
All right, guys. I think we are done. This is at the end of the day, just two people giving their opinions. You know, one's more of a political man there, Brandon Lauren Maxwell, the Daily Chela.
Thanks for having me on, my friend.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's good. We're keeping this going here. We're keeping this going.
The tradition, keeping the new tradition alive.
Yes. I don't think you're good. Yes, exactly. And thank you for everyone in the chat. We had a lot of people here, and for the most part, y'all kept it very civil, very passionate, very honest. I like that.
Thank you, Fletcher, as usual.
You can thank him right there. What's up, Fletch?
Oh, just typing away. Hola. I was just typing. I was like, what happened?
Typing. Thank you for your reaction.
Oh, yay. Thanks, everyone. Sorry, I know some of you guys, I had to kind of like hold your comments. It's not us. Basically, it's YouTube that, certain words, and I love it that you guys are passionate on both sides. We just got to keep those little words sometimes, YouTube,
Yeah. Was there some of that going on?
It was just a little bit. It wasn't vile. It wasn't bad. It was just, both sides had a little passion in and all stuff. And it's not us. If you guys didn't see your comment, it's just because, YouTube kind of flags it and stuff. And we talked about it with a few people, and I think they understand. Much love. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. We unless you're going after someone in the chat or going after anyone on my panel, we're not going to strike you. We're not going to time you out, even though we could. We'll ask you to be civil, but stuff like that, YouTube, you got to understand. YouTube is their algorithms are really, really
they're tight.
Really, yeah. Okay, we're gonna do a hard out. We're just gonna wave goodbye. Much love, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
All
Take
right.
care, everyone. We'll see you soon. New videos every day. Peace. Daily Chela.